Welcome, everyone, to Brown and Browner, the Turkey Edition 2025. It's a great week of sports. We're just coming off week 12 of the NFL, leading into the wonderful turkey season of week 13 of the NFL and everything else that goes with it, along with some college football, too.
Yeah, it's the time for sports. I mean, the weather's cold depending on where you are in the nation.
Yep.
Midwest, it sucks. But boy, you got all sorts of sports, and I'm sorry, football still is king.
Yes, sir.
And to have 3 games on Thanksgiving is a feast on top of a feast.
Like I was telling my colleague here, I'm pretty much going to have an ass print in my couch here because of how good these games are going to be tomorrow between all contender teams, which is just crazy on a Thursday slate, top to bottom.
Top to bottom, it's going to be great. Every game has importance, especially to the last 2. Well, actually every game, but the last 2 games could be playoff. Whoever loses those can say goodbye to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Maybe not the Ravens as much, but definitely the Bengals and definitely the Cowboys and Chiefs. So there's a lot to look for, and as long as you're not eating turducken, you should be all right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, the Lions are a tradition. The Cowboys are a tradition. I get the whole Thanksgiving bit, but I love that the NFL's added a 3rd game even for the night slate because honestly, that during that coma, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, agreed. Because you're already in the food coma, right? Yep. And now everybody sort of left and dissipated and everything else. So now you can just sit back, relax, and get that last game in. And then you get to watch all of the highlights on SportsCenter, and then you go to sleep.
You know, we always kind of joke that the NFL's got script writers. This year, we can't predict a damn thing because that's based on week 12 results that we've already looked. We're about to review here. You can't predict a game anymore in the NFL. It's ridiculous.
It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip, and there isn't any real team, which is something we haven't seen in a few years.
Wow.
There aren't 2 or 3 teams that we could clearly say have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Everybody's sort of lumped in. Who's the best? Is it the Rams? Is it the Seahawks? Is it the Eagles? I mean, look at the Colts. Are they really that good? Are the Patriots really that good?
Every good team's got question marks this year. I mean, people walk to the season, it's going to be the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, from the AFC. They're all trying to see if they can even get in the wild card at this point.
Isn't that amazing?
The Eagles have looked pedestrian. They have had no offense coming out to life. And frankly, you don't know if they're going to win every week to week. They lost to the Cowboys last week, case in point. Seahawks, okay, maybe Sam Darnold lost the genie magic somehow. I don't know. But he's still getting the ball in Jigba, which is great.
He's killing it. He's going to maybe set some records this year. Definitely set Seattle records, and he's still got 5 games left. That's
what's scary. And then, arguably one of the best receivers in the game can't even get a ball thrown to him anymore, and Justin Jefferson on the Vikings, because the Vikings decided to part ways with 3 great quarterbacks potentially.
Well, let's see. We don't want Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
We don't want Sam Darnold.
No.
We're going to settle for this guy.
Yeah.
That needs a lot of seasoning, like more seasoning that you're going to put on anything you're cooking today.
Yeah. Some people made some bland turkey and some bland dinners. You need some seasoning, my friends. You need salt and pepper.
I'm sorry. Definitely. I mean, maybe he will eventually get there, but right now, not looking so
good. McCarthy is not the answer. Yeah.
He's throwing the ball like Caleb does on a semi-good day when Caleb still airmails like 3-4 passes, can't hit a guy in the flat, can't do the simple things. Well, Sam Darnold is having an issue with that, and it's hurt Minnesota. And talk about wasted talent. As classy as he's trying to be, he leaves the facility. And he's
McCarthy. JJ, I mean, to me, I'm going to argue to say the last 10 years of college quarterbacks that have come out, name me one that you think is going to have sustained success for the next 10 years in the NFL. There's none, because the way that the NIL and the college system works now is you got these guys with a flash in the pan, 1 good year, 2 good years, and then we're ready to anoint them come the draft time. Hey, they're going to be the next stars of the NFL, yada, yada, yada. Beyond Joe Burrow, and honestly, he hasn't been healthy for more than 1 season.
Well, come on, Patrick. Come on, Patrick.
Well, okay, so but Patrick was 2015. That's 10 years ago now. Think about that.
Josh, was that?
Josh was 2017. Good point. So, you've got some guys. You got some. Yeah, Lamar is okay. So Lamar won a Heisman. He proved it. All right. To me, he proved it. Josh came from Wyoming. Okay. He got his chops. He's good.
He really proved himself. I'll give him that.
Arguably, Pat Mahomes played one of the greatest college games ever against Baker Mayfield. 2 guys that obviously can hold their own. So, that was cool to watch too. So yeah, you've got a few guys here and there, but then you start anointing the Daniel Jones of the world, who had one good season at Duke. You got, well, granted, now we are talking about an MVP candidate potentially up in New England, Drake May coming out, and
so far he's doing what he's supposed to do. I can't really say anything bad against him.
I'm going to give
North Carolina though.
He went to North Carolina.
Okay, I'm just saying, when is the Trubisky gonna hit his ass?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got these fluky things here and there. So I mean, yeah, Sam Darnold played 1 year in college. Okay, that didn't, obviously for the first 6 years of his career, that didn't work out. All of a sudden, you're seeing some magic. Okay, great, flash in the pan. Are we seeing also some of these guys come back to earth? I mean, look at Daniel Jones. The guy looked like a scared kitten in the fourth quarter. You have to admit, this past weekend. He wasn't that guy that's going to lead a team in the playoffs in the fourth quarter like an Indianapolis team.
Yeah, that was part of the OCs, but that's part of the OC's problem. Just like Philly and other OCs are not taking the basics of a fucking sport. When you're leading, you want to milk the clock. And if you got the best running back in the fucking league, who you give it to?
Jonathan Taylor could have easily sealed that game for them based on clock management. There is no question. The Chiefs could have lost that game. And I say that as a Chiefs fan. Simple enough.
If you want to give the other team life, hey, the Bears have been doing it. They've been getting lucky and winning. But if you want to give the other team life, then these are professional athletes. So you give them, you're supposed to kick a competitor when they're down. So then they give up and you don't have to worry about them. But if you give them a spark, then all of a sudden you start thinking, hey, maybe we can. Come on, let's rally around this. Let's play. Let's do this. And look at what the Chiefs did.
How did the Eagles not score in the second half? When you have Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown.
Yeah. You down with OCC? Hell no, not me.
Nah, dude. It's mind-boggling to think the mismanagement going on some of these teams when it comes to offensive coordination. It just makes no sense to me. Now, on the opposite end, we'll start with a quick highlight from last week. Look at what the Houston defense did to the Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
8 sacks, my friend. 8.
And they were just chasing Josh down. It was like watching one of those National Geographic shows where they're showing like the lions in the brush waiting. As soon as they get a chance and they jump and they catch the weak one, Josh was the weak one this last week.
This is what happens when you get a D'Amico Ryans, who's a defensive-oriented guy. He gets there, you know what? He's like, I'm going to put pressure on this guy, make him throw the ball. And guess what? The Bills got exposed for the fact that they don't have the receiving core to make up for the weaknesses.
That's it. If you stop the run, you forced them to do that. And their front four was doing it. It wasn't even that you had to blitz all the time.
Just four, yeah.
You have 4 guys. What? How many sacks did Anderson have that night?
Like 6? I don't know.
3, maybe 3.5, something like that. Either way, when you're doing it like that, and you don't have the receivers who can actually run routes that get themselves open, and you're not scheming things up to where you have 2 crossing routes that voids the zone, and then you come with another person through the zone, what's going to happen?
Yep, exactly. No,
and you know what? The Eagles are doing some of that, and that's why you're seeing them failing. When you said, why did they score in the second half? Look at how they played the second half.
Yep.
I feel like it's the same way. They were just bigger and better before. Now, all of a sudden, everybody caught up. A.J. Brown really isn't putting in his 100% effort. I don't give a fuck what he says.
Yep.
And you see what's happening. They don't have a scheme to get guys open, and now they're throwing a lot of jump balls where guys are actually covered, and they're hoping the guys will make a catch.
Well, think about what's winning. Just from that game alone, it's the essential basis. Having a guy beat another guy off the line and put pressure on the quarterback. Lawrence Taylor days, if you will, or even the Neil Smith days that we had in Kansas City. You got a guy one-on-one. You got him blitzing all day long, putting pressure on the quarterback. When did the NFL get away from the basics of running the ball, playing defense, attacking the quarterback, putting pressure on them to get the ball out? One-on-one coverage.
One-on-one coverage. You blitz the quarterback. Any quarterback worth his salt, especially those that are now all of them making $100 million or more.
Right.
If you give them 5 seconds, they should be able to cut you apart.
Yes, sir. Easily.
It's the quarterbacks that get bum rush like you do rookies. When they see a rookie, they do that to rookies historically, but they should do that to every single quarterback.
Every single quarterback.
What happened to Mahomes in the Super Bowl last year?
Yep, exactly. He got barely 3 seconds to throw, and guess what? They look pedestrian. Simple enough.
That's right, because these guys can't get open 3 seconds. So now what do? You're throwing interceptions. You're holding the ball and taking sacks. You're all of these things that the quarterback gets blamed for sometimes. But I feel like it's more the matter of the defense. If the defense really could control the offense, we always say like play our game and this and that. but then they change their techniques and change how they approach the game. Just be yourself. If I know I can bum rush you and I can rush 5 and 6 people off and on throughout the game, that's going to disrupt your offense. Why aren't you doing that?
Exactly. No, it's mind-boggling to think that this year's football, I feel, has gotten away from a lot of those basics. Honestly, could be winning games left, right, and center, especially in the fourth quarter. You're seeing these teams blow leads. Look at the Giants. I mean, that's why they hired. They have guys at every level that are all-stars, in my opinion, drafted. How is the defensive coordinator?
They have a nice young defense, but they had 5 games where they led in the fourth quarter, and sometimes as late as 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter by like a touchdown or more, and still lost. That's horrible. Remember the one game they played against Dallas when Russell Wilson, that was Russell's last flash in the pan?
Yep.
How do you lose those games? How do you lose these games?
I feel bad for
just coaching.
I mean, I feel bad for Jameis Wilson.
Look, Jameis, I'm going to have to tell you right now, that was probably one of the best games I've ever seen you play since you left Florida State. Literally. I want to say that because he played a monster game, and I'm telling you, that should be a highlight for the rest of the year when they play the Giants highlights, where he gets the pass from the receiver and he basically puts the linebacker down and gets into the end zone and then rolls the dice like blam on their ass.
As soon as I saw that as the first half highlight, I'm like, the Giants are going to win this game. And I turn around look at the quarter, and I'm like, I look into the quarter and I'm watching the Chiefs game, obviously, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Some teams know how to lose. The Bears used to be there, but their culture has changed. Ben Johnson, kudos to you, another clap out, because changed the culture. The Bears still have a little bit of that Bears in them because they try to lose these games, but now they're actually winning them, and they're winning them because of the quarterback.
The Bears intrigue me the most down this final stretch of 4 or 5 games left because they are figuring out how to win games ugly, which is a key piece of winning in the playoffs. But more importantly, now can you win in your division against the Lions and Packers? That's where it's really going to come down to the meat and potatoes in the next couple of weeks.
This is scary. What are the Bears, 8-3?
Something like that, yep.
So think about this. They played the Packers twice.
Yep.
And granted, Rodgers isn't there to own them from the Packers' point of view.
That was surprising.
It's still the Packers. I love that. We can talk about how they beat the Steelers. But they still have this thing. You know, it's the Packers. They got to play the Lions the last game of the year.
Yep.
They're playing the Eagles Friday. They're playing San Francisco in a couple weeks.
Tough stretch.
And in between, they got one of those you never know games. Yeah. And we're not necessarily the greatest against some of these bad teams like Cleveland. That's the other game we got. Who's to say Shedeur doesn't light a fire? They start playing better. We go down to Cleveland and Miles just fucking runs over whoever is on his side of the ball, other side of the ball, and sacks Caleb 3 times.
Myles Garrett and Will Anderson scare me. Myles Garrett and Will Anderson scare me in this league.
Well, Myles Garrett does not want to win unless, like, if I was him, he took the money, right?
He took the money.
And that's okay. But if that was the case and they sold him a bag of goods, whatever that bag of goods was, hey, we're going to get a quarterback. We're going to we got a good defense, yada, yada, yada. They actually have some pieces. They need to get rid of Jaron Judy because that dude's.
They need to flush the offense. They need to flush the offense.
Yeah, they need to flush the offense. But what if Shedeur really is the quarterback they need? And he keeps the people in Cleveland hopeful because you got to keep your fan base. And he can win some games.
It's like we've said, though. You've got, I don't care if you bring in a rookie quarterback. You have to, get him protection, which for some reason in the NFL, historically, it's always been chicken before the egg. Oh, we'll put a great, rookie quarterback, number 1 draft pick in with no protection and expect him to, expect the world of him for no reason. Or
Sam Darnold, everybody who played for the Jets,
everybody.
Achilles Smith back in the day. You can name a ton of quarterbacks who had so much promise until they got to the shitty team in the pros. And
that one shitty team just happens to be Cleveland, because think about how many cast-offs that are now doing successful things all have protection and are playing well because they were that good.
Well, I'll give you an example. Troy Aikman came into the league. Remember he came out of UCLA? Yep. They were like, hey, no, he's going to be all that. I think his first season he was 1-15. I think his next season wasn't a ton of better. But after that, he had a basically Hall of Fame All-Pro line in front of him. He had a back who became an All-Pro back, not because Emmitt Smith was that great. I'm sorry, I'm still not the biggest Emmitt Smith fan. I'm sorry, it should be Barry Sanders or Walter Payton all day, every day.
Yep.
But he's He's got a great running back that looks greater because their front line is so fucking good.
You know what? I'm going to give him even 2 more points of credit for that Cowboy team. Their fullback, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Not Robert Newhouse. That was before it.
No,
it was
before him.
Huh?
But that fullback was the reason Emmitt Smith was Emmitt Smith. Let's face facts. I'll think of it in a second.
Tip of my tongue.
And then the other guy who was the ultimate check valve was Jay Novacek.
Novacek was the killer.
Yeah.
He was a great 5-10 yard pass. Make sure you got him. Plus, they still had Michael Irvin.
And everybody else in between. Exactly. Yeah.
So, but again, it was back to what you had said.
Yep. Protection.
Went to a shitty team, just like all the best quarterbacks do. But that shitty team immediately recognized that in order for him to be successful or us to be successful, we got to get 5 guys in front of him that really want to battle and keep him upright.
Think about it. I mean, the Colts, okay, the first year, Peyton Manning was like 0-15, 0-6, whatever. He took the most sacks ever, I think, in the league at one point or whatever in the league. Got him some protection, got him both a Marshall Faulk and an Edgerrin James and everything else behind him. And then he got Jeff Saturday in front, and they built up a line and a core and a tight end and everything else. Guess what happened? You won a title.
Yeah. Well, guess what? If Peyton Manning, you're talking Peyton Manning, right?
Peyton Manning.
Manning knew how to throw a ball that was actually a spiral. Maybe they would have won before. I'm just saying. Like, you remember Peyton Manning would throw that 40-yard duck?
What?
It was cracking as it came to the receiver. Luckily, Marvin Harrison, I don't know, he just knew how to catch balls that weren't spiral.
Between Starvin Marvin and Reggie Wayne, I don't know how they caught balls, but they did.
But that was Peyton's ball. I'm sorry. Peyton was probably the most cerebral quarterback. I'll give him that.
Absolutely.
And I'll give, who else I'll give that to? Montana. I'll give him that. These guys have the talent of some of these other quarterbacks, but yet they had the understanding of the game that helped them slow things down.
That was an interesting era because you had Montana who was very cerebral. Then you had 3 guys that literally had cannons for an arm. You had Elway, you had Marino, and Steve Young. I mean,
hell yeah. These guys could throw a ball through a wall.
Yeah, exactly. So
Montana coming out of Notre Dame, I give him all the credit. I don't think the best quarterback ever. I got my wife's San Francisco fan. Boo.
Sure.
So is my brother. I don't know how.
Honestly, in terms of a clean ball, I mean, Marino threw a ball. I mean, you got to admit, Marino threw a ball.
Marino threw a ball. He was great. Unfortunately, coming out of Pitt, he came rookie season, lit it up. Super duper, all of that shit, right? And there are 2 sides to the ball, isn't there?
Right. That's the bad part. See, again, that's what should be the Cleveland story. Not saying that the defense is bad. I'm saying that you got to resolve one or the other in 30 years, and you didn't. You took 30 years to resolve it.
I mean,
I still remember I was a graduate of high school. I was watching college football. Kentucky happened to have this kid named Kim Couch. All of a sudden, magically came out of the bayou, Kentucky. And Tim Couch got picked #1 by the Cleveland Browns. It's like, oh, it's gonna be the savior of the day. Dude got sacked like 60 times in 1 year.
Again, so this is what you need to do. We saw it with Caleb.
Yep.
You can see that. And, between 2 things to me. One, the focus from the general management down, where you don't say we're going to make this a priority.
Ryan Pace has done well.
Something on both one side or the other side about something.
Yep.
The other thing is, and I think this part might have changed for the Bears, but we're seeing it in other areas, is that you got these guys who are playing offensive coordinator, and some of them are great. And those are the ones, some of them go to coaches and you find out they're really great offensive coordinators, but not great coaches. But others want to tinker with shit and do shit. Hello, Nagy, you hearing?
Yeah, Matt.
And you have the Eagles are the prime example of that. Cleveland never really had this. Cleveland never really had, back in the Ozzie Newsome days and stuff, but you never had they got A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
They got, what's his name, Devontae Smith?
Yep.
They've got
Saquon Barkley.
What's that? they got Goddard.
They got Goddard, Barkley, Hurts. I mean,
and they got Saquon. That's their offense. And we're not even talking about some of the other guys who still contributed.
No. They have an elite front line.
Scoring 21 points in one quarter and 0 points in another quarter against the
agree.
Dallas defense. Not like the best defense. Dallas.
I understand that some people like to think that the Dallas defense has somehow been magically resurrected because of a couple of acquisitions and things. But you know what? I think they're going to get exposed tomorrow night, and we'll get to that in a second. But at the end of the day,
man, please, people are so fickle and so week to week when it comes to you suck. Oh, you're so great. See, that's what I've been waiting for. Get out of here. Stop your.
And like you said early on, there's no sustained greatness this year that we've seen out of any one team. And that's what's going to be the question mark leading into the next 5 weeks, honestly, and into the playoffs. It's literally a crapshoot. And the cool part is, because of whoever the NFL scriptwriters are, all the divisional matchups are all coming up right now.
That's what I'm worried about with the Bears, because the Bears are 8-3 right now, but they could easily
become a 500 team. Yeah, they could be a 500 team in a matter of seconds. Absolutely. I mean, honestly, one team I see slipping is those Indiana Colts.
Too, especially now that they've actually been exposed. You know, like you can lose. I think some of that, you know, like there's an aura about teams that win, and you feel like you have to do more than what you normally do. Well, now you might not feel like that anymore, and you might get back to the basics that actually make you a team and the identity that you've established.
Me and you have played competitive sports. One of the things you try to do throughout the season is try to find your bread and butter, regardless of what sport you're playing or anything like that. You figure it out as a team or an individual. What's your bread and butter that you can rely on going into a crucial game, crucial pressure matchup? You figure it out. I don't know whether some teams are tinkering around with that or what, you know, what's going on. Even the Chiefs, like, okay, we know some of the bread and butter things from having seen the last 5 years. And we haven't seen any of it on the field this year, which is just ridiculous. No. So are we just, you know.
Dare we say Kareem Hunt should be getting the ball more? Because I remember just a week or so ago talking about getting Breece Hall and such. But Kareem looked like Kareem when he was on Cleveland.
Exactly. So, I mean, maybe like I always like to think that somehow – Maybe the jokes like the Chiefs or the Eagles, maybe they're all doing an okie doke on the NFL and they're just trying around tinkering crap during the regular season and everything. It never works that way in any sport. We can tell you from personal experience, otherwise, whatever. It never works that way. No team can flip the switch at any point in time.
No.
Have a genie come out of the bottle. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to start proving that over the next 5 weeks. So that's going to be fun to watch. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it starts off with a great slate tomorrow, to say the least. But last week, honestly, out of all the games, the one game that surprised me, only because of the ending, of course, is the Lions and Giants. How do you blow that many games after leading?
Like we were talking about earlier, you're looking on the figure and the Giants are winning, and you're like, oh, they're going to win this game. And you try to watch it, and then poof. The Giants are losing.
But conversely, okay, so this is where I want to kind of lean into the conversation about the Lions. Okay, we know what the Lions are capable of. They have offensive weapons all over the place. We know they're a suspect defense because all they have is really Aiden Hutchinson, and I can't name anybody else other than Anzalone or somebody like that. But they're not playmakers. They're not the all-star caliber top 5 guys at their position, whatever, right? That team, coupled with the Bears, who seem to be finding some rhythm on both sides of the ball, interestingly.
Yep.
The Packers have a suspect offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no love. I'm sorry.
And yes, you might have Micah Parsons on your defense, but I can't name anybody else on your defense.
Well, it's funny because I feel like their defense has been holding them up because their offense.
It's been holding them. It's been holding them.
But you're right. I mean, they don't seem spectacular.
The only team that's balanced in that league is the Bears. Interesting.
There's something to that.
So we'll see where it is. But I think even tomorrow's matchup, you could see a shootout in that Packers-Lions game, honestly.
You can see it either way. Like we had talked about before. Hey, you saw the first game of the season. I forget what the score was, but it was like 16-10 or something like that. You could see that again. You could also see a game where both teams score 40 points because they actually have that kind of potential. Both teams do. And that's why at the beginning of the season, those were 2 of the top 5 teams that they had making it to the Super Bowl, or top 6, you know, besides the Eagles, what was it, Kansas City, Bills, and Ravens, right?
Yeah.
But in the NFC, these were the teams that they were touting, not the Rams, not the Seahawks, you know, not those teams. It was Detroit and it was the Packers.
So on that note, who do you take tomorrow?
Who I take tomorrow? I got the Lions. They're at home. They're playing Detroit. They're in Detroit. They're going to have the turkey going.
Yep.
I think they have something to prove. because they really should
Yep.
have lost the game against the Giants, and I was rooting against them because the Bears would be two clear games because they both lost.
Yep.
No,
I think
Chris didn't lose. I was rooting for both of them.
yeah.
They both ended up winning. But
Yep.
I feel like the Lions, how can you at home on turf, because I think they're not expect them to score 40 points. I don't care which defense you throw at them. You got
Jameer Gibbs. You give him the ball 15 times. When you want to spell him, you bring in Montgomery. You still get the same thing.
You got see, the thing I think that hurt them more than what we thought it would is Laporta being out has really hurt their offense.
It's going to hurt them. Yeah.
Williams, they've got Brown, but I think not having him has allowed defenses to focus more on those two, and you're not seeing big plays anymore.
True. And Amon-Ra can't be the. I mean, honestly, Williams should become now the fire starter because Amon-Ra is going to get marked up on the best corner, whoever that is. Jameson Williams could become a stud.
Could,
but we haven't seen it yet.
I mean, I feel like for a week, maybe last week or the week before, they highlighted Jameson. You started seeing.
They're getting there. Well, Dan Campbell took over the play calling. That's the key, I think.
Well, what happened last week?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
be more consistent. Talk about a team, to me, who misses an offensive coordinator.
Right.
Johnson was better than what we may have thought. Because
no, for sure. He might be the next guy that that definitely comes out of the ranks as a coordinator and finally becomes a head coach. I think he is that guy. There's no question. As long as he can overcome the historic jinx of the Bears, he will be one of the the guys that can make it. There's no question.
And there's something about Chicago jinxes. To look at the Cubs and their 106 years of not winning. So
exactly.
Chicago jinxes that since Jordan left, what happened?
No, I think the Bears are on their way up, and that's like I said. I think tomorrow's game, at least with the Lions, it's going to help them keep pace. The head-to-head matchups with the Lions and Bears are going to be fun to watch the next few weeks.
I'm looking forward to it, as well as all of the other divisional matchup, where I think this is where you win and lose playoff spots.
Absolutely.
Not only it's not just about winning your division, or even having enough wins to get into
you got to figure out how to play ball in a pressure moment. That's the key thing right now.
I think that's one, but I think the bigger thing is these teams are going to have tiebreakers against you if you lose against them.
That's what's nasty.
Get into the playoffs, you have to win against the teams that are going to be you're fighting against in the playoffs, and most of them are going to be within your division, depending on the division you're in.
No, pardon my Detroit French, but it's a clusterfuck for the wild card this year on both sides, the AFC and NFC.
Both sides. And who knows who's going to win? Look, Kansas City can still make the playoffs.
They can make the playoffs, but guess who beat them is the Jaguars. So it's like, see, the tiebreaker scenarios are insane this year with that kind of thing happening. So it's going to be fun. It's going to get wild. Now, that said, our Chiefs and Cowboys, game number 2 tomorrow. This is a must-win for both teams at this point. Pressure-filled game for both teams. The Cowboys got to show that it wasn't a flash in the pan last week, which we know what the Cowboys are. They think they're going to the Super Bowl because they won against the Eagles.
Did you say who you picked with that game?
Oh, I'm going Chiefs on hardcore. I'm going Pat Mahomes goes back to the state of Texas.
You started with Lions Packers. You started with Lions.
I'm going to go. Lions. I'm going Lions just like you. Yep.
Okay. So Chiefs Cowboys. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I think Pat Mahomes goes back to his high school glory days in Arlington, Texas, and puts up a number that we haven't heard or seen of this year, and finally gets this thing moving. I
think everything's going. The defense actually showed up when they needed to.
I think the defense has been showing up all year. I think they're gassed by the time we don't complete our offensive routine of getting through a progression. We're either turning the ball over, which Pat has been doing with interceptions, bad throws, by the way.
Sure.
Or we have inept play calling where we run up the middle every single down for no reason.
Yeah, that part is getting to me. But I do feel like, I feel like the linebackers have been doing their job. Special K is always the man.
Special K, Nick Bolton, those are them the boys.
Yeah, but Chris Jones better show the hell up.
Chris Jones needs to get his paycheck this year. I'm sorry, but the dude hasn't gotten the that expect out. He may be getting double teamed. I haven't watched close enough to see where he's getting double teamed. But the dude needs to be the pressure point in the middle so that the linebackers can come in and get the tackles or whatever it is.
Double or triple team, and that should mean that other people have opportunities. But I'm not seeing that. And I'm not seeing like the ferocity and the desire to hit the quarterback or get the quarterback. We've seen some things earlier in this year, and I don't know if he really apologized for those or not,
Yeah,
but we saw giving lack of effort and could have done something, but was sort of jogging to the plate.
He's got to be the bellwether. I feel like our secondary still hasn't played up to its potential either. I like some of the capability we have in the secondary, especially if we're forced one-on-one and some against some of those guys. Now, that matchup against Lamb and Pickens, that's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be something.
Them boys can catch.
You know what? No, Lamb can't catch. You've been watching.
Sorry. CD's dropping balls. Yeah.
He's been on the line, like, missing because he hasn't caught. He missed so many balls. It's ridiculous. Touchdown passes.
Yeah,
we were lucky to pull that game out.
Yeah, CD's nuts. I mean, they're falling.
Right now, in my opinion, Pickens is the lead receiver, and you can tell by the way Dak is now focusing on throwing it to him a lot. Even jump balls. This guy, Randy, he's mossing two guys at the same time.
There was twice, I think, in the game. I was watching him, and he could have easily gone after the ball probably with two hands. He said, "Just go. I'm gonna go one."
And mossing him. I mean, he's going up and high pointing the ball.
This guy's a freak. Dude's a freak.
And and I know Tomlin and everybody else, I'm included, because Pickens, and we talked about it, you were in this on it as well. Pickens is one of those cancerous kind of players where you weren't sure you wanted him. Well, it's funny how when you're in a contract year, all of a sudden your mouth shuts up, doesn't it?
Yeah, your mouth shuts up and you put up 1,200 yards.
Well, now he's the model player, right? Now he's not talking smack. When he was at Pittsburgh, I guess maybe he had a reason. Maybe he did have a reason. And you're going to hear from DK Metcalf soon. Watch. Maybe there is a reason.
DK got paid. DK got paid, but he hasn't getting the ball. That's the difference. He's getting paid, but he's not getting that ball. Pickens wasn't getting paid, and he wasn't getting the ball either.
So now he's going to get paid. So kudos to him. But man, they're a formidable duo, and Dak is, playing like old Dak. But I'll tell you this: Pat is coming back to town, and
yes.
I'm sorry, we're gonna call you Dakota, not Dak. We're gonna call you Dakota, because that's how we're gonna roll up in there.
Exactly. Dakota's gonna get blitzed, and I'm gonna enjoy hopefully him getting pressured to get the ball. Now, the X factor in all of this, and frankly, we've struggled against the run, the Chiefs. Javonte Williams is showing some light. He's showing some good capability. So it's going to be interesting to see how the play calling goes. However, without fear, I will always say that Matt Eberflus will always screw things up for a defense. So I have no problem.
It's funny watching him, run down the sidelines and yell and do all of that stuff. But I don't disagree. Again, let's not get happy that Dallas, what is Dallas, 5-5-1? Isn't that what
they are? 5-5-1 with that tie against the Packers. That's right.
Well, let's not get happy because Dallas won a game.
Yeah.
It was against the Eagles, but it was a divisional game. It wasn't just the other game. It was a divisional game. We always played, or Dallas always plays the Eagles tough. They played them tough earlier this year when they were sucking. So let's not get too high on that. And I think the Chiefs are going to put some reality checks up in there like, oh, that's right. Dallas does still suck. Oh, that's right. Mahomes is still fucking Mahomes.
Exactly.
He's played average this year at best.
Yes, he's been below par, but I think this is gonna be the game where the Chiefs get a little bit on track because honestly, they're in for a gauntlet of a rest of the next 5 weeks. They only have 2 easy games, maybe against the Titans and maybe against the Raiders, but then they got to play Chargers, Broncos, Texans. I mean, it's gonna be brutal.
I think there are a lot of teams that are going to actually make the playoffs. Whoever makes the playoffs, they got to earn it this year.
You got to earn it this year.
We're not going to be like, hey, we can take it easy. They're actually going to have to fight every game to be able to get this playoff and the seeding that you would want.
Now, speaking of earnings, we both agree on when the Chiefs win in that game. The night game, I think, is the earn it game. Now, Mr. Lamar is on his back. 1-5 to start. They're back at winning again. They're 6-5. They're in the top of the division again, just like we predicted at the beginning of the year. Not as well as they could have been, but well. They're getting their offense rolling in Baltimore. The defense is still suspect because you haven't even heard anything from them. Yeah, Roquan's been quiet. Roquan quiet.
Where's Quan? Show me the Quan, Ro.
Now, this is another fun divisional matchup in the night game against Joe Burrow coming back in the Bengals and Jamar Chase obviously coming off his Haktua moment, if you will.
No, I've never opened my mouth to the man.
Yeah, right.
That's what he said at his locker, right?
I know what he said.
To the man.
So it's going to be a fun one. I want to see if the Ravens defense can actually wake up and play up to their potential because I think that's going to be a big key for them down the stretch if they're going to be a viable playoff team, especially with the fact that they're going to have to win out to even hold the 4 seed and get home field, right, as a 4 seed winning their division. And then they could have somebody like a Bills, Chiefs, or somebody like that coming to their house in game 1 of the playoffs. Think about that for a second.
That can be scary. I actually just, hey, another one of you OCs that think you know more than what.
Exactly. Todd Monken, another overpaid monkey. Yeah,
sorry. Derrick Henry almost did he almost get 2,000 last year?
Yep. Yeah. And what do? Not handle the ball.
The ball 6 times and you bring it in Justice Hill?
Yep.
What's wrong with you?
I'm telling you, between Todd Monken.
What happened to Lamar in the run option? I'm sorry. He doesn't need to be a statue like Randall Cunningham in the pocket because this dude can run as fast. He's got Michael Vick fastness and quickness, and yet you're so afraid that he's going to get injured that you want him to be a pocket passer? When were you more effective?
I'm going to give you a fun hot take, and this is maybe a bit racist to say at times. Are we screwing over African-American quarterbacks in this league by changing offensive coordinators every single year? Because Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams. I can go down the list here.
Well, Caleb Williams one is because all of the offensive coordinators before him sucked. And the coaches sucked too. The other two, if you think about it, a lot of these guys get promotions because of the talent that they're given.
Oh, absolutely.
So then they don't get offensive coordinators anymore. They end up being coaches somewhere else.
Mike McDonald up in Seattle earned his right by obviously coaching the Ravens as well as he did because of the talent around him. And he's proven it obviously as a coach in Seattle. No question.
Sure.
But there's a litany of other ones that if I've been fired, whatever it is.
Yeah, but you know what? If there's a conspiracy that I still think exists, and it's clearly existed since the beginning of black quarterbacks when, what was his name? I want to say his name was Graham, was quarterbacking the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then they had Terry Bradshaw take over. And he was the one who gets into the record books, but my boy was lighting them up before that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One, they took great quarterbacks who happened to, if you think about the history of the quarterback, how many his quarterbacks in history, and most of them were white, all of them were white at one point, were able to run the ball as you see a Michael Vick, a Randall Cunningham, a Dante Culpepper, or whoever it is. Name every black quarterback because they have the talent and physical ability to do this. But because our old school ass institutional thought of what a quarterback's supposed to be, you're supposed to be the stoic, stand in the pocket, be the general.
Basically, you're supposed to be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady and just sit back in the pocket and pass.
Or Dan Marino. All of those guys were good quarterbacks, but one thing they didn't have, athletic ability.
The only one man in history that was white that could run is Steve Young.
Steve Young, hands down.
Yep.
He had no brother in him. I don't know where.
Now, do we have a little bit of that in Josh Allen? Absolutely. Now, Patrick Mahomes can't be counted just because it's half and half, but
you're wrong there. But I still think that exists, and that's what they're doing to Lamar. Oh, well, you need to prove that you're a classic quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to prove that I'm an effective winning quarterback.
And win and run. That's what he did in his Heisman campaign. That dude had the fastest legs on the field. There is no question.
So give him the ball. Run the run option. That's your weapon. It's not him standing in the pocket getting smashed or trying to find Mark Andrews all the time. That's not the most effective way to run your offense. That's a supplement to the idea that Mark can run and throw.
So normally in a given year, a quarterback has like 4,000 yards and you have a 1,000-yard rusher. For the Ravens, it should always be the opposite. You should have 3,000 yards rushing with that duo and maybe 1,000 yards out to Bateman and the boys and Andrews.
They can actually win games like that if they have a decent defense.
Yeah. Think about all the smash mouth football. Think about the smash mouth football Pittsburgh won in the 70s doing that.
And I was a fan back then.
Exactly. It sells.
But that's, again, the idea of old school football. Another example, like you were talking about, the mindset of the black quarterback. Hi, Randall L. Remember when you had to play wide receiver? L. Stewart, remember you had to play wide receiver?
What the hell? Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the truth. But here's another truth. The institution of football, the NFL, has, in my mind, deliberately downplayed the importance of the running back. So they are paying running backs. Remember, every team that had a great running back was a great team.
Marshall Faulk, LaDainian Tomlinson, Priest Holmes, Jamal Charles. I mean, we could go down this list.
Strong team. Now they've devalued what a running back is, as if you could. And granted, most running backs don't have the longevity, but that's because they're running the ball 200
You know,
times.
the last two running backs in my mind that I could remember, beyond, you know, the more modern ones that we've had a couple, you know, fluky years here with Saquon and stuff like that, it was like Corey Dillon and Chris Johnson. Like, what happened to that era? And then since then, you know, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's because they devalue what running backs are. They'd rather have a running back who can be versatile and catch the ball out of the backfield, which all of those guys that you mentioned could do that.
I'll challenge that back. You know who the most versatile back in my recent memory is? And it's not recent, obviously, by any means, but in my opinion, there were three running backs that were that versatile. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh, dude, definitely. Marshall Faulk, definitely.
Marshall Faulk was the second one on my list.
Yeah.
And then Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles, definitely.
I mean,
I think there are a few others, and look at what you have now. Okay, for one, I'm not sure why they don't pass the ball to Derrick Henry in the flat. Think about him in the flat.
I've been trying to figure that out for over a decade that he's been playing.
One-on-one. Come on. They never.
I'll give you. You know what? I'm going to give you
Saquon Barkley, though. Saquon Barkley. Look at what he is effective at doing, but they don't use it like that.
I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to name two local names who they should be even thinking about. Jamal Lewis.
Oh yeah, Jamal Lewis. Loved him.
Beast. Loved him. Absolute beast. And Ray Lewis before he beat someone up.
Well, he was messed up. Wait, not Ray Lewis. You talking Ray Lewis, the linebacker, or Ray Lewis?
Not
Ray
Lewis.
Ray
Lewis. Ray Rice. Sorry.
Ray Rice was a great running back.
And again,
he didn't realize Cam was going to catch his ass.
Yeah, but threw the ball in the flat, took off running. Jamal Lewis took off running, and that was the Baltimore culture. What happened to it?
What? But again, because I get the idea of evolution. Everything evolves.
Absolutely.
Things change. But there are certain aspects of what we had previously that should also be incorporated into how you're changing. Doesn't mean it's less effective, but you can still throw in the new nuances of the you know,
do you think there's
way you're evolving into it.
Do you think there's a trust issue between the coaching or the management and Lamar Jackson? Because here's what I would be doing if and again, I'm not a football coach. Obviously, we know that. You'd be running RPO all day long and let him audible all day long.
All day long.
All day long.
How you gonna stop that? You can't stop the body rock. If he hands the ball off, you might be in trouble. If he doesn't hand the ball off and runs himself, you might be in bigger trouble.
Exactly. He's a three-way threat.
Now, the fact you're thinking that as a linebacker and you're coming in because of the anticipating this, and all of a sudden he drops back and there's a void for 10 yards behind you.
Mark Andrews.
You're out of position.
Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Bateman, anybody. You take your pick. DeAndre Hopkins, whatever.
Zay Flowers. Is he out or is he injured?
Zay Flowers still there.
Yeah. So think about that. But if you want to be overcomplicated, you can come up with all of these fancy schemes. And again, this is where I feel like the conspiracy still exists, that I want to turn you into a pocket passer. And I don't feel like, for instance, you've mentioned Steve Young. I don't feel like no one ever stopped him from being able to run or pass.
Hell no. There was no stop sign on that man. It was like, all right, you do what you need to do. If you need to get to Rice, you need to get to whoever. Okay. Oh, if you need to run it, go ahead.
But I swear, you can name every single black quarterback through history.
Always let the broad breaks on.
Doug Williams wasn't athletic. He was a great pocket passer. He won a Super Bowl that way. But all of the great black quarterbacks you've seen, and even some of those that you never saw them become great. I mentioned Randall L., mentioned Cordell Stewart.
They definitely put the brakes on Randall Cunningham, if you think about it.
Randall got stifled.
Yeah.
And he was running the ball back then.
Yep.
But this is football. And the idea of football is you're trying to win. And as a competitor and you have athletic skills, you're doing whatever it takes to win. Now, I understand when I see quarterbacks jump off the ground, I've seen a couple do that. Mariota did that. That's being dangerous. And Randall used to do that quite a bit. But you got to give them the freedom to be able to do that so they play without being harnessed. Right now, I feel like Lamar Jackson is being harnessed to he has to exist in this area.
My defense of Lamar Jackson is very simple. He is faster than every other player on the damn field if you let him loose.
Like
his only fear is twisting his own ankle because ain't nobody touching his ankle because he's going to be burning him.
And really, how many times did he get hurt throughout his career? He's been hurt more this year than he has throughout his career.
Exactly. Being a pocket passer. Yeah, exactly. Go figure.
Just saying, like 1 + 1 should equal 2, shouldn't it?
Simple enough. I'm going Ravens over Bengals. However, I am going to pick a high-scoring game in this one because I don't think both defenses still know how to play how to play the basics. And Joe Burrow's going to get the ball to Jamar Chase. We know that. We know he's going to get the ball to T. Higgins. We know that. Chase Brown's still a wild card, whatever. But honestly, the Ravens can't stop the run, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I just wonder how much they're going to have Joe actually throw the ball. I still think this is a stupid move because you have 1% to make the playoffs. I get Joe wants to play, but what's the point of bringing him back? Okay, another thing that most of these teams do is they want to protect their asset. So we don't want you running the ball. We don't want you doing this. We don't want you doing that. So that's another factor when we're talking about Lamar and other quarterbacks. However, Joe Burrows has been injury prone.
What makes you think
that chance to make the playoffs and your defense sucks?
Do you think management came in and said, "Hey, you guys protect Flacco, so you guys should protect Burrow too, right?" Come on.
I mean, did it look like Flacco was getting more protection than Burrow?
Honestly, I didn't watch enough, but the dude was getting the ball out quicker. That's for sure. Because
So if that's the case, and maybe the protection was the same, then you need to talk to Joe and say,
Burrow.
1, 2, 3.
And I've always said that. Even in the year that, again, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it as a Chiefs bias fan. It was a fluke year that the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl that year. We were up in that game at halftime on the AFC Championship. Let's face that. Yeah. Joe Burrow did nothing to change the outcome. At the end of the day, Joe Burrow got anointed. Fine. Okay, one-time thing. Is it going to happen again? I don't think he ever makes another Super Bowl. I'm going to call it now.
That could very well be, but I mean, if you're looking at the potential of the quarterbacks that we see nowadays, and not
as good as Josh Allen, he's not as good as Lamar Jackson in my book.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, not the new guys, but if you look, okay, you got Lamar in the AFC. Take out Mahomes because Mahomes is already established.
Yep.
You got Lamar who's still chasing it. You got Josh Allen who's still chasing it. Neither one of which have been to the Super Bowl.
They've had to go through this thing called Arrowhead Stadium.
So what though? Joe Burrows was doing this. It wasn't like Cincinnati's defense was even that good when they were
Chiefs
winning.
Blew the game. Chiefs blew the game. Simple. Yeah.
So, but I'm going to give Joe Burrows the props over just about every other quarterback until he shows me he can't do it. Now, if he's injury prone and his career gets cut short for that, that's one thing.
Burrow has the best weapon because he's got his best friend in Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Right there. At the same age and same, I mean, he's got him for the next 10 years. Let's be facts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So does he have the best opportunity? Absolutely. Out of the group.
Well, see, now part of the reason why Cincinnati, and we don't have to talk more about it, but the reason why we're never going to really be good is this. How much money do they have into Jamar Chase and Higgins?
It's the most mismanagement of money I've ever seen in my life on an offensive scale. It's ridiculous.
And you know what? It's like that with Dallas.
Yep, absolutely.
It's going to be like that because they're going to have to pay Pickens. They can't let Pickens go after this year. So you just paid Dak, you just paid CD, and now you're paying Pickens. That's why they got rid of what's his name? Because they didn't want to pay him. Jerry Jones wanted to pay him what he wanted to pay him. And when he agreed to him verbally and then said, well, my agent needs to be involved, and he didn't like that. So he let him go. And look what he got for him. People that he could get for a cheaper cost. But it's going to hurt them in the long run because they can't ramp up fast enough on the defensive end.
100%. 100%. I assume you're going Ravens in this game?
Oh, yeah, I got Ravens for sure.
All right, easy enough.
All those reasons. Bears, Eagles. Let me call this one out. All right. Eagles look pretty shabby in the second half.
Yep.
They're still the Eagles, and they're actually at home. But I got the Bears, baby. The Bears are riding the highs of that label of being losers, and I feel like they know how to win now.
I think that this is going to be the game where the Bears win. The Eagles look so bad that they fire their offensive coordinator. I'm going to call it that far this year because it has been that ugly in Philadelphia, and Sirianni finally takes over, and that's when they finally start changing starting next week. I think this game is going to the Bears in a blackout in Philadelphia.
What a sight it would be because the Lions are playing the Packers.
Yep.
So whoever loses that game, if the Bears win, they'll be 2 games out.
2 games up. Yep.
That'll be so awesome. Let's hope for it. Let's hope for it. Don't want to talk too much more about it. That's going to be a good Friday night game. Look at that. Slate.
Easy enough. Now,
all right, so I got some games. Let's call one quick one just to get it out the way because I know we've talked a lot about some things. We really didn't get a chance to talk about week 12 all the way through, but we talked about some really good stuff. Saints, Dolphins in Miami. I got the Dolphins. I don't care about either team.
Yep, easily. In fact, I'm going to call it that the Miami Dolphins go on a run just enough. They're not going to get in the playoffs. We're going to get just enough to screw up things for the playoffs because honestly, they have the easiest schedule left and then slate all the way through.
And not only that, here's the question: do they save
Mike McDaniel?
Do they save Eminem's job?
Crack dealer Mike might be saved just because of that run.
That's hilarious. All right, I got a game here that I think is going to be one of the most, potentially probably the best game of the week, and has a lot of implications. Texans at Indy.
Huge game, monster game, in fact, because this one's for the division. The Texans are on the come up. You saw what that defense did to the Bills. D'Amico Ryans have them boys clicking in the defense. Daniel Jones ran scared in the fourth quarter, all because of the pressure we brought from our linebackers. And guess what? That's exactly what D'Amico Ryans is going to do. He's gearing it up. And so CJ Stroud's probably still going to be out. Neck boy Davis Mills is still going to be there, and he's getting the ball out to Nico Collins and all them boys, and they're running clean and everything else. I like the Texans.
So this is the funny part. They're doing this with the backup quarterback.
I know.
Tell me that you would have had any trust in Mills of doing anything more than making you a cup of coffee.
This is Davis Mills. He's been around the league for God knows how long.
General Mills' son, Davis Mills?
Yep, exactly. He's with a bigger neck, with a Peyton Manning neck. Yeah.
So you got to give this guy credit. Kudos to him.
Yep.
I think Indy's going to come back home. Remember, they played in Kansas City. It's not easy to play in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, no, I get that.
They're a turf team.
So was the Texans.
True, but I'm thinking more from their perspective.
Yeah.
Change from week to week.
Indy being in Indy is going to be a big factor, especially if they can get in the playoffs and play in Indy. They're going to look dangerous. And Jonathan Taylor will run wild. There's no question.
And I think he might run wild again. I think the Texans, one thing I've seen this year is the inability for teams to sustain things. Like, for instance, Jacksonville beat the Chiefs and then play like garbage the next week.
Yeah, they look like the Titans.
Well, I think that sometimes you sort of shoot your wad. You get the emotions up, you riding the high, and you forget the intensity that you need to have to be able to start a game and finish a game like you did the week before. So I'm going to take the Colts on that one.
Fair enough. That's our differentiator right there. Easy game of the week, maybe Jags and Titans. I'm going to go Jags on that one, even though it's on the road in Tennessee.
I don't care. Tennessee and the Jets don't ever get my vote of confidence.
Exactly. That's what I figured. Let's
play each other. I'm never picking either one of those teams to win. Browns might be close on that one. That's one that you pick better.
Well, okay, so let's get to that one. 49ers, Browns. See?
I mean, again, though, even though it's in Cleveland, it's the Browns. And while Shadur looked a lot better having a full week of reps with the first team, kudos to him for persevering through all of this and doing that. It's going to be a different story next week.
This one's Niners easily. I mean, let's pretend that Myles Garrett somehow gets to Brock Purdy, injures him. Guess what? You still got the other dude. Mac Jones still ready to carry the ship, so no problem.
Yeah. Yep. And they're going to do enough. And McCaffrey, we talked about it offline. Yep. He is really playing at a McCaffrey
fountain of youth.
So he's really doing it. Kittle's back.
Yep.
They still suffer from a wide receiver perspective. Pearsall's out. The youth
Jennings catching the ball. No, Pearsall's back, but he just didn't catch many balls. Jennings is playing well. Ayuk is sitting in Cancun. Don't really care. He's gone.
He is gone.
I find it almost crazy to think that a man sits there, acts like a crybaby, gets paid, doesn't want to show up for work, and then he gets his contract terminated now because of his unwillingness.
Are they terminating his contract?
That is what the legality of it is. They can formally void his contract now because of his not willingness to be on the field despite him being healthy.
They should do that. I mean, and then where's Brandon going to go after that?
Nowhere. He's a pariah now. Simple. Well, what we thought was George Pickens before is now the model of George Pickens.
Yes, actually, that's true. That is very true. Jets Falcons, not a big game, I don't think.
Now you've come out and said very openly you're against the Jets, everything else.
Yep.
The Falcons are one of those teams that you don't know what the heck you're getting every week.
Again, no one's a week to week. They look good, and then they look like shit and lose 30-0 to the Panthers. And they look good, and then see what they did last week. You just can't trust them.
Is this Kirko 2 Chainz coming out party where he scores 40 again and does his little,
I don't know. I think it's a running back party. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think the Jets are going to try to run the ball because they obviously can't do anything from a passing standpoint.
Yep.
And I
it's
just think
Bijan.
Atlanta's going to run better. They got Algiers, they got Boy, so you can't. How can you can't stop that? And
easy pick with the Falcons
like he's
there.
Somebody this year. Yeah, I'm not sure if London's back this week, but he's their best receiver.
Still won't matter, I don't think. I mean, the Jets have depleted their defense anyway. It doesn't really matter. So, Falcons easy on that one, no question.
Yeah, agreed. Me too.
Here's an interesting matchup, only because of records and everything else going on. It's Rams and Panthers. I mean, the Rams have looked solid. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to go Rams, but
me too. My bet's already in the sheet. Yeah. But the Panthers are another one of those teams. Let me go back to what I said offline when we were talking earlier. Yesterday's Bryce was not today's Bryce.
That's right.
He looked like, you think about it. You get 4 turnovers in the first half? And you can't score at all? A field goal?
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yep.
Come on, stop it.
That was shameful. That was downright shameful, especially when you got Trent. I mean, honestly, I think Trevor McMillan might be the next top 5 wide receiver guy. That dude is a freak.
You know what? That Bryce has shown that the two of them have connected. What happened to anybody else? Isn't it Leggett? What happened to him?
He's too busy speaking Creole.
I mean, and honestly, if they really got their act together, their defense isn't bad.
It's not bad. No, like I said, they got potential. They're 6-6. They're still vying for the South miraculously, but no, I'm going Rams pretty easy in that one. Should be Matt Stafford back and Sean McVay's back.
Stafford, MVP.
And MVP, and honestly, that defense, I tell you what, they're to me, they're the number 1 defense in the league right now. That Rams defense.
They're definitely some big boys, and they're playing really well. Number 0 killing them.
Jared Bose.
And you gotta love it. They lose one of the best defensive ends ever in Donald, and now look at their defense.
Yeah, read a funny rumor this week. It's like Aaron Donald's thinking about unretiring for a chip run. I'm like, oh boy.
No, man, stop. Just stay there. Stay there.
All right.
Here's the other game. Go ahead.
I was going to say Bucks Cardinals. So this gets interesting. The Bucks are just decimated all over the field. Baker Mayfield's questionable week to week right now with an AC joint issue. I mean, Jacoby Brissett shows flashes in the pans and gets destroyed. His defense just lets him up. It sucks. I'm going to go Bucks only because it's in Tampa Bay, but honestly, they're playing depleted. That's what sucks for the Bucks right now. They're in a tough situation.
Well, their defense better buck up.
That's true.
They used to be good, but I feel like
Todd Bowles was going to be a defensive coach. He got to get back. He's got to get back going a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like they just haven't really shown up, and it's costing them. And I feel like Baker's out of miracles. Like he's run all of the tricks out of the hat. He's able to get them all done. But I think that they're going to suffer. However, I just can't take the Cardinals. I'm sorry, just cannot take the Cardinals.
Yep.
So I got to go home. They're going to fire the cannons off a couple of times. Boom, 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 boom. And
100% agree. What we thought was going to be kind of a close game, I think, at maybe one point in the season, but now they seem to be kind of spiraling. And unfortunately, the Vikings and Seahawks.
That's funny. You got the same line I got. Do we have to even talk about it? Let's see.
No.
J.J. McCarthy, you're making the Vikings feel like they made a couple of bad decisions. They might have still even wanted to have Kirk 2 Chainz come back.
Unless he needs to somehow channel his JJ Dynamite, like it ain't happening. Like,
What is that? And what's this alter ego crap? I'm number 9. Look, the only way you can have an alter ego is that your initial ego actually is worth something. You can't tell me that alter ego sucks.
Portray himself like a badass when he hasn't proven a damn thing in the league. This is another dude that sounds like a Johnny Manziel to me. He's going to be out of the league in 1 year.
Good call.
Yep.
That might be the bust of that draft because they had quarterbacks come out. They thought JJ was going to be right there. Not so much.
Ain't happening.
I got
Raiders, Chargers. Yeah. What's that?
I said I have the Seahawks as well. Can't take the Vikings.
Yeah, Seahawks as well. Raiders, Chargers. I'm going Chargers, obviously, on that one. Raiders are just, you can't even explain what the heck they are anymore.
I pissed at myself for taking the Raiders against the Browns last week because you took the Browns, and now you're taking the lead on me. So that part sucks.
I'm sorry, but Pete Carroll's looking like John, Joe Biden at this point. Like, it's not working out too well.
It's not working. Don't care how much energy you bring to practice. You might want to tone it back or something. I don't know. Wasn't the right decision. Plus, there's something you can't do. I'm sorry, Geno.
Yeah.
What happened to Geno from last year? I don't care even if the plays are bad. He's throwing interceptions like he can't see people.
When you can't get the ball to Brock Bowers, when you can't hand the ball off to Ashton Janty, like
that's on the coach though. That's
on the coach.
That's like him calling a pass on the 1 yard line after Marshawn Lynch ran it down their throat, and then you want to prove how smart you are. A recurring theme, how smart an offensive coordinator you are. I'm going to pass the ball at the 1 yard line and lose the Super Bowl.
I agree. No, like I said, Chargers are another team though. They've also had some injury issues. I mean, they're gonna win this game. Obviously, it shouldn't be an issue. But they've got to pace with the Chiefs and the Broncos in the division, which is gonna be kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're if and Andy though. They look good sometimes, and they look really bad sometimes as well.
Yep.
Bills. This could be a very, very interesting game.
I tell you what, I wish this was the night game on Sunday because honestly, it'd be a better matchup. But it's gonna be the late game on a Sunday at 4:30. I don't know what to make of the Bills because they just look so shitty against the Texans. Can they resurrect themselves and actually get the offense moving? Because all they have is James Cook working right now. Josh Allen's not getting time in the pocket because he got bum rushed literally by the Houston Texans. The Steelers have that capability with this guy named Watt that plays out there and a couple other guys. But we haven't seen the Steelers play defense in over a decade as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know.
Not consistently.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Steelers. Ooh. Only because it's in Pittsburgh, and I think the defense shows up and brings that pressure to stop Mr. Allen again.
I'm just gonna say I don't like Aaron Rodgers, so I got the Bills.
He does. I'm not. I mean,
Bills. I love Tomlin. Don't like Aaron Rodgers. I got the Bills because I think that Josh is gonna. It's sort of like what Mahomes was hearing the last few weeks, and he's losing games that he's not accustomed to losing. I think Josh is going to have that same realization, and this time he's not going to fumble the ball and throw interceptions. He's going to stay the course, and if he doesn't turn the ball over, they win. Period.
Then they win. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely, makes sense.
I'm sure that we don't have to talk about Broncos Commanders. There's not much to talk about.
It's sad to see DC football go down the drain. That's all I can say. Yeah.
After going to the NFC Championship game last year, to see this is a bit sad. But shit happens. I just hope that it doesn't turn out to be another RG Griffin kind of thing.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. And then I mean, I don't know how many people are actually even going to watch this game on Monday night, but maybe they will. Patriots Giants should be a pretty easy win for New England in New England. I mean, the Giants, they figured out how to lose games. I don't know how that works.
Could be. You know what I want to see on this game? I mean, I got the Patriots. It's hard not to take the Patriots. But as you mentioned, the Giants actually have some talent. They can, and look at how Robinson. Look at the trick plays that they were calling after Dayball left. They called these plays and they were working.
Yep. No,
not just one. They did like 2 or 3, and they were working.
I like the way that the Giants are moving in terms of their player personnel and everything else going into the future, especially when they get Neighbors back and everything else back and Dart and all that. For next year, they're going to be a great team. For this year, I mean, it's a lost season. You may as well tank to get another gas at basically at this point.
They're going to tank without having to tank, hopefully. You can suck and they'll actually play hard and try to win.
And again, the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, coach of the year, in my opinion. There is no question.
But I'm saying watch out for this. Jameis looked sort of good.
Jabu on a Monday night. I mean, this is hard to pick because the man's a showman. I mean, the man's a Broadway artist. We know this.
He is, and I think the Giants might be able to, take some of the experience.
If he had Scatterboo and Neighbors, I'd give him a valuable shot. But it ain't happening with with limited parts.
I'm picking the Patriots too, but I'm just saying if there's an upset that I could see happening, it's going to be that game.
Yep.
And potentially could be, believe it or not, it could be the Jets against the Falcons.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, like I said, it's a crazy slate of games coming up. But like I said, it kicks off the best way possible. You have 3 amazing games tomorrow, to say the least. Yeah. And then sandwiched in between NFL and Saturday football slate for college. Oh, my God. You got great rivalry games, including, I think we cap off the night with Auburn, Alabama, in Auburn.
Yeah. Auburn even put up a fight.
Auburn got rid of the coach and all that, but you know what? There's some magical thing going on in that field. We saw it a few years ago. You saw that miracle play, and it happened there. So people got to realize that Texas is playing Texas A&M. A&M's number 2 or 3 in the country. Texas has Arch Manning. They're playing in Texas. Is this his, show out game?
Well, here's what I think about that. Earlier, you mentioned about how some of these quarterbacks are preordained.
Yeah,
and
I don't think he has the goods.
I'm sorry. Have you seen anything from Arch Manning this entire year that makes you even think he's related to the Manning family?
He is a media prodigy at best right now. I have not seen anything that proves to me that he is NFL worthy at this time. And I mean, he'll spend his 4 years in school, obviously, because this is in the second year now. But I don't see the prospects yet. He doesn't have the game. He doesn't have the game that his uncles had yet, to say the least.
Not even close. There should be some great sports on. I do. Yep. I'm smelling something that I shouldn't smell right now because I'm cooking. I got my greens. But this is a great time. But one of the things I just wanted to say to everybody out there, and definitely to you, partner, I hope that everyone enjoys the holiday, enjoy the time with the people that you love, some of which you love just because they're family, but sometimes you wish they weren't here. Uncle Willie, Uncle Willie, it'll be all right. But enjoy the time with the people you love.
Have fun with it, exactly.
Really important in your life, which is family, and bring some joy to your life this Thanksgiving holiday.
If there's one thing we've learned over the last 5 or 6 years, since quote unquote the times of COVID, if they like to say, there's times when you don't know what the next day is going to bring. Bad or worse, bad or good or anything. So take the time that you have, cherish it, especially in moments like this where you have family together, friends together, everyone that you love, coming together at different points in times, regardless of whether you get along with them or not in the fullest way possible. It might be the last time you see these folks. You don't know.
You don't.
Got to enjoy it for what it's worth. So absolutely enjoy the time, embrace it, come around sports as we do here with me and my partner. But at the same time, have some fun games going on, make some drinking fun, do everything you can to enjoy the day, the time, the weekend that you have this weekend.
Yep, because most of the time we don't get to see some of the families are flying in or whatever, and you see them once a year, twice a year at most. The other part of it is Thanksgiving is about the 4 F's. The 4 F's. Family, food, fun, and football, baby. And maybe
baby. That's right. That's right. The greatest tradition as a kid that I used to enjoy was John Madden. And it's unfortunate that he's no longer here, but that was just cool to watch.
Rest in peace. He is the man.
Sure. Yep. On that note, partner, enjoy your day, enjoy your cooking, enjoy my cooking. We're both food savants in our own right, so we're going to enjoy our time. But we will be back next week to recap on all this craziness. But I tell you what, enjoy the weekend in the meantime.
All right. Be well, everybody. Kudos to you, partner. May your Thanksgiving meal be well, and we'll talk.
Oh, and by the way, happy birthday to my partner here, by the way.
Don't worry about that.
We're reverse aging, so he's only 40, so it's cool.
I wish. Your math sucks.
Peace out, my friend.
Thank you, sir.